Hey folks, with us today, Asaad from SARC MedIQ. Asaad, super happy to have you on.
Happy to be here. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Amazing. I mean, I always love to have PhDs on. So what brought you from the world of science into startups?
I always wanted to understand stuff from the core principles. So startups are the actual culmination of applied theory. So that's what intrigued me.
And then tell us a bit about MedIQ, what it does and who it's for.
So MedIQ actually is an AI-based healthcare platform. What it does is it tries to assist the medical providers through the power of AI in helping patient diagnosis, treatment planning, and it actually levels the playing field. So the super rich versus super poor, we are trying to target underserved community. So it's for patients. We sell it to providers, which are physicians, hospitals, healthcare facilities who are struggling right now with delivering quality patient care and having a nice work-life balance. So with our software, we're giving them the time back, or we are giving them the opportunity to make more money. And at the same time, working on patient care as a priority.
Is there a specific process you help with, or is it more like the complete journey of like a physician working with their patients?
Yeah, so what we do is we come in, we're kind of like the McKinsey of the healthcare space. So when we initially targeted physicians that are not happy with the hospital space, the bureaucracy, the slow patient care, or not focusing on patient care, and they wanted to start their own journey, but they had no clue how to do it, and they had no clue how difficult it's going to be. And so we started as such, and we got such a great reputation that now larger facilities are recognizing it. And Philips is actually working on a deal with us. I can't disclose the details, but it's gotta be pretty huge for us and for the healthcare industry.
And then, I mean, it's a regulated industry with customers who are, at least if I can trust what I heard from like other people, sometimes quite, let's say, sensitive when it comes to implementing new technology, or like just like going with new tech. How do you approach that from like a founder perspective who wants to use technology to like help an industry improve?
Yeah, so when we started, it was very challenging because obviously there was no trust factor, and AI was like in the infancy stage. But with GPT, actually, it opened up the mind of the people, and you've seen the news, right? GPT able to pass the legal tests, medical tests, all those tests. So they have a sense of maybe this can work, but obviously very regulated space, very difficult to get penetration. So it's about building relationship, and the life cycle for building a relationship to actually installing is much longer than other industries. It's a challenge, but we are building that trust, we're building that relationship, and adoption is getting better.
But then on a tactical level, does that mean that you go with an enterprise sales motion and then like also like push a lot of like product marketing content to educate, or like technically speaking, how are you attacking that challenge basically?
Obviously, it starts from education. You need to have a recognition, right? People who are in this business are trusted, but those people are the larger companies. And for smaller companies, especially for startup, getting recognized requires either you're part of a larger group, and not just and we are educating how we are improving the quality care, making it more affordable, and actually having a hive mind of all the doctors into our tool that will help you get better traction, accuracy numbers, subtraction in terms of will you get paid from the insurance? Because in the US, it's a very different system, and you need to educate for people outside US. In US, the payers are driving how patient care is given. So if let's say a patient has to go through heart surgery, they need to have insurance. Then the insurance determines based on what the diagnosis is, what kind of treatment planning needs to happen. And so they pre-authorize it. And so there's lots of moving parts over there. And what our AI is doing is helping the doctors write the bill properly, have proper information in there, and have a backing of a large number of bills already that got paid is already part of the AI portfolio. So again, the full cycle, the whole goal is doctors can only survive and thrive and provide healthcare if they're getting paid. And the struggle for initial doctors who are just getting out are not getting paid, and they struggle and they need to borrow loans or whatnot. So again, the McKinsey mindset is we trust these people. They know what they're doing. Let's follow their procedures and make it the chances of us being part of the healthcare facilities journey makes the chances of surviving and thriving higher because we've done this for so many other facilities.
Interesting. So basically, if I'm a new physician, meaning I maybe used to work at a hospital and now I'm starting on my own, it's basically getting the payment from the insurance company is like a very hard thing, and you help me get paid faster. Thus, me as a business person, even though I'm a doctor, I can have a better way of doing things with you.
Absolutely. So getting paid is number one for maybe the physician to survive, right? But they want to have highest quality of patient care. So the SARC MedIQ, the SARC stands for Smart, Affordable, Reliable Care. Reliable care is also important. Affordable is also key. So if it's not affordable to the physician, they cannot utilize the services. When you think of McKinsey, you're thinking of very high price tag. Can I afford it? No, the idea is we want to provide Macy's products at Walmart prices. Kind of like in the UK, it's the Harrods products or whatever is Salisbury or some general store pricing. So that's the idea. And that's the only way they're going to adopt us at scale.
If you need to hire the right developers and ship fast, then React Squad is for you. A boutique agency that specializes in React and only works with fast growth startups. Visit reactsquad.io to learn more.
Love that. And let's switch gears a bit more away from the product and towards like the business building, because like no matter what product you're building, like building a business that builds the product is always like the first step. Can you tell us a bit about how much you raised, how big the team is, just like what does the company look like today?
So we never went to institutional venture capitalists because I wanted to get an understanding of this space. So my two co-founders are very well versed in this space, and for me, I was very well versed in the AI space. And so if you go with an institutional venture capitalist, you are on a timer. So now your business decisions are driven by we need to get to the next milestone as quick as possible. And so that challenge is tricky. It may work for you, it may backfire, and the likelihood of you succeeding, I would say, goes up slightly because having more money in the bank is always better. And if you convince one set of institutional investors, chances are there'll be follow-on money if you do it right. But I did not like the timer thing. So so my co-founder is an interventional cardiologist. He's very successful as MSO running. He has a very large MSO. MSO is managed service organization, so which means he has specialty offices. He has a surgery center. He works for hospitals, so he's very well versed with the complete patient journey. And he had funds because he was struggling with the way things are done today. And so that's why we formed this company, just to fulfill his needs. And chances are there'll be lots of other MSOs who will utilize our services. But we immediately, very quickly in the first 18 months, realized that it's actually the physicians that are getting out of hospitals and opening up their own surgery centers, opening up their own spaces is the key market. That's the underserved community, because hospitals can afford larger systems. The underserved communities are struggling and they're dying, and healthcare is getting more and more expensive. So in total, we've raised about $1.5 million. Again, you can consider this as friends and family or super angels, people from Google, Amazon, people that I know that trust me and believe in the vision have invested. But we're raising a seed round this time, and we're trying to get on an institutional investor. And why is that? I think it's all about timing. I think we're ready to grow the network and scale the business. And so having an institutional backing and a timer is okay, because now we have a very solid grounding on the vision and what we want to do. And we want to find a partner that is aligned with that vision, because at the very inception stage, you pivot a lot. And so if you have an institutional investor, you shut down and then restart and shut down and restart. And that you can get labeled as, oh, this CEO actually is a serial entrepreneur, but fails a lot, right? But it's okay to accept failure. It's okay to fail, but you need to get up and try something different. Fail fast and adapt. That's the key. Be persistent. Be very focused, but don't be rigid in what your vision is, because what your vision might be at the start might not be what the market is saying. So listen to what the market is saying and adjust accordingly. That's the only advice I'd give.
Love that. And then, so how many people work at MedIQ right now?
We are over 50 people, and we're growing very, very fast.
And then how do you see, like, in terms of headcount, what do you think will the jump be when you raise money? Because usually or typically when people raise funds, like hiring is like one of the key things they use the money for. So do you already have like roughly planned out like how big the jump in headcount will be?
So that is driven by my chief technology officer and chief revenue officer. They've given some numbers. We intend to grow slowly, because, I mean, if you grow too fast, I already have a few people lined up and they are willing to come on board. So some of the headcount is already being accounted for, but obviously when you go and try to scale, you find out, so you need to have a buffer. So we have a game plan, and we have a game plan for different check sizes that come in. And usually that's the best strategy, because the biggest challenge usually is, how much do you raise? And what is it going to be useful? If you have a very flexible strategy of, if we raise this much, we can get this target by having this plan. And if someone comes in and says, oh, I believe in your solution, or not only the external funding, let's suppose you get strategic partnerships come in. At that point, you'll have an influx of money. You need to have a game plan. Having more money does not mean you sit on that. Having more money means that you need to be prepared, because sure, I mean, there are other companies that get to like $10 million, $15 million revenue annual, and they'll be like, okay, this is where I want to be. I can manage this, and so on and so forth. For me, coming from a Stanford mindset, I don't think we should be limiting ourselves with a dollar value. We should be limiting ourselves with where we see the company in the next 5 to 10 years. And the biggest thing I see our company doing is providing value-based care, and we want to be the next Uber of healthcare. Pretty much, you need to have an app, and you need to have everyone using the service.
I find it super interesting that two things specifically. A, that you do that scenario planning, because sure, no plan we as founders sketch out will ever happen exactly like that, but we still need to be able to make decisions today, and thus we kind of need the planning. And secondly, how do you, when you bring on VCs, in the end, you need some type of liquidation event, either an IPO or like an exit. So is there in your mind, even though you just want to be like as big as possible, like some specific number you're trying to, because I find it super hard. Like I'm running like a tiny 25% bootstrap company, but even I find it super hard to say, okay, like what's the end goal? Because like picking revenue numbers always feels kind of like, okay, like I just pull it out of my head basically. But if it's like a non-revenue number, it's like kind of like a bit fluffy, like hard to grasp basically. So how do you make like the goal setting? Like how do you set goals in like the very long term basically?
Yeah, when we started the company, my two co-founders had a much smaller check size as an exit strategy to what we are actually getting offered from private equity firms or other M&A folks. You need to listen to what the market is saying, and you also need to listen to what your heart is saying. And if you're not done with where you want the company to be, don't sell, don't get acquired, because as soon as you give the keys to someone else, they'll have a different agenda and your vision will not be realized. Now, granted, a lot of entrepreneurs, what they do is they take a smaller check and exit and think that the next time round, they'll try to implement the vision. But if they take the check the first time, guess what they're going to do every time? They're going to keep taking the checks.
I love that. Do you think that's something that you just have to get a win under your belt to be able to make that basically like to push it further? Or do you think it's just like a mentality thing?
I think it's a mindset thing because I was a chief scientist at JD.com. It's a giant. I was heading their technical side of things for robotics. So I was building robots that were used in warehouses and so on and so forth. So I was in a very happy place. Money-wise, I was very happy, work-wise. And so when I was thinking of starting my own thing, people are like, are you crazy? I mean, people dream of these jobs. Why do you want to give up all of that? But I mean, my passion is to give back to the world because the world has given a lot to me. I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed. So I want to give back to the world. And so my two passion projects are healthcare and food production, because those are the causes of the basic sufferings. Everything is all about resources. So having a healthy life and having enough resources so that no one dies of hunger, those are my passion projects. And so that improves the quality of life for humankind. Those are the core basic requirements, and those are my passion. So I'm going to continue, and I'm not going to take any checks. Or if I find someone who's willing to give me a check, but give me sufficient authority or a timeline that, hey, you keep trying what you're doing, we love what your vision is, that's golden for me. I'll take that money, because now that gives me assurance that whatever I've done is validated by someone paying me for that. Not only that, it also gives me more arsenal to make more mistakes or be more aggressive in trying different things. Because if you're scrappy, then you can't make those mistakes. You can't be that aggressive. I have a very, I would say, on the aggressive side mindset. My CTO always keeps laughing that you bring the company books to green and then take them back to red. And you've done that so many times that he doesn't even question it. The first 3 times, like, Asaad, what is your game plan? I'm like, my game plan is to be $1 billion company. And then I met Sarosh, who works for Google Healthcare, and he's like, the way you're thinking and where your heart is, you can be like tens of billions, even a $1 trillion company. Why are you stopping yourself at $1 billion? So those conversations gives me assurances. And when you're sitting over here at $1 million recurring revenue, and you're seeing those big numbers or talking of those numbers, if you don't believe in your vision, if you don't have a passion, if you don't see the product market fit, there is no way you can execute on that. And you'll be happy with a $50 million, $100 million check. And you'll be like, oh, that's successful. I'm done. I'm going to do something else, but not me.
I love that. I mean, I love that perspective shift from just like a lot of people in the bootstrapper indie scene talk about like hitting their 10K a month, but then those like different spheres of achievement, even without like putting more or less like value on like the dollar numbers, but still just trying to hit a bigger thing.
Yeah, I mean, if your heart is in the right place, and if the market says you get traction. To give you a perspective, we have not lost a single customer. We've been around for almost 5 years. So that tells me whatever we're doing is quality product. It keeps the customers happy. It's a very challenging phase. Don't get me wrong. I mean, healthcare facilities burn out, die, close down, shut down on a regular basis because they don't have the numbers right. I think with our team and with our philosophy and with the tooling that we provide and the insights that we give with the AI, I think that's helpful. So we have zero churn, and we are making waves. And people use this term very loosely. I'm going to say that word once, and that's it. I'm going to stop. Disruption is proven by how many people are converting to your platform. When we give a trial account to our customers, and they convert, that conversion rate is what matters at the end of the day. That shows you if you're disruptive or not. If that number is greater than a certain percentage value, then you are definitely disruptive. Our numbers are between 70 to 90%. So 70 to 90% people using our service actually convert to our service. That speaks volume of how we deal with them, how we approach the problem. We don't come in and tell them you need to do this. That's just the wrong mindset. You need to understand where they are suffering, where their pain points are. If you address those pain points, you'll upsell. They'll keep coming back to you. They'll be like, okay, they'll give you feedback. That's gold for an AI company. Feedback is gold in terms of data, in terms of your analysis, in terms of everything. If you build the wrong thing, no one's going to buy it.
I love it. I think those are perfect last words here on the pod. And then as a final question, where can people find you and the company online?
So yeah, go to www.sarcmediq.com. S Sierra Alpha Rabbit Charlie MEDIQ.com. You can find me on my LinkedIn page, Asaad Hakeem. I have a very unique name. So the top 3 or top 4 hits will be me. Happy to chat. If you're struggling, come and talk to me. I still struggle, but in the initial few years when we were sub 100K revenue, it was a lot more challenging. There was a lot of question marks in my head, in my co-founder's head. Is this the right thing? But if you're persistent and if you're true to yourself and your team, they'll work with you to make sure that you come out successful.
I love it. We will make sure to link everything up below as usual. Asaad, thanks a ton for taking the time today.
Thank you, Lukas.
If you like this episode, then you'll love the SaaS Operator, a weekly newsletter brought to you by EarlyNode, with actionable insights from SaaS experts in the industry, delivered right to your inbox every Tuesday for free. Visit earlynode.com to subscribe.